The PlayAction Podcast is fueled by Picasso's Pizza, where every night is pizza night.
Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey is the focus of a lot of fan attention this week after the Buffalo Bills offense posted its second straight unimpressive outing. Katherine, what do you think about the Bills' 14-point offensive output against the New York Giants?
Yeah, I think looking at the start, there's definitely some questions there. Just why can't this team get rolling early? Particularly when it was a problem the previous week against the Jaguars. But you look at how they started punt, fumble, punt, punt, some of those three and outs as well. They just weren't able to get drives going. I think there's some concern that's a little overblown, but I do think they need to figure out something to the start of these games for sure.
I would totally agree with that. I guess I'll make 3 points. Number one, my inclination is always to say it's more about the Jimmies and Joes than the X's and O's. 2, I like the big picture direction. The Bills offense has gone 12 personnel, which I think having Dalton Kincaid on the field is a good idea. Obviously, he was out. Now, I'm not blaming the performance on the fact that Kincaid wasn't there. More of a multifaceted run game to attack softer defensive fronts. That has generally worked. When you look at the first 6 drives, first drive, wide receiver gets schemed open, Gabe Davis, tripped, no call. That's the way it goes. I thought that one was a call. Second drive, wide receiver trips, no call. That was less of a call, but the drive was going and Gabe Davis fumbled. Not the coach's fault. Third drive, they get Diggs open deep for 28 yards. Josh Allen misses a wide open Khalil Shakir a couple plays later. Not the coach's fault. Fourth, bad series. I'll put that one on the coach. Fifth, drive is moving with 2 14-yard runs. They came back with another first down run. Didn't like that call. Second down incomplete, missed field goal. Sixth drive, holding on the first play, false start on the second play. Not the coach's fault. So it's a mix. It's, to say that the offense is broken, I understand that fans are very passionate. That's the great thing about fans. But there is more gray than fans want to say. This offense, okay, it is broken, but 2 weeks ago against Miami, it was on the greatest, unstoppable, wonderful. So where is the truth? We need to at least see it play out a little longer. Let's see where they stand in a couple weeks.
Yeah, to your point, when we look at the 2-game sample size recently of bad starts, we don't go back one game further to that Miami game where they were very effective throughout the game. They had their first touchdown as the fourth quarter started. So, yeah, some of it, the slow start extended into this game. But I think there are still, to your point, it's a mix of things right now. It's not easy to say every single thing that has happened is on Ken Dorsey. There's been some of the less big plays that I think fans love, but some of that has been from trying to control it a little differently. And so I think that there's a point to that too, as well.
One thing I think is a definite worry, and I wrote about it this week in the Buffalo News, is are they good enough particularly at the number 3 wide receiver spot when they go to 11 personnel? And they have to go to 11 personnel some of the time. They had to go to it. They went to it more than any game against the Giants because Kincaid was out. But, I'm not sure they're good enough that the trio of Trent Sherfield, Khalil Shakir, and Deontay Hardy is good enough. And we're going to have to let that play out. Is that trio collectively better than Isaiah McKenzie, who wasn't good enough last year and who's doing nothing for the Colts? We don't know. That is a worry right now. And then Gabe Davis is slightly ahead of his pace of last year. He's good, but is he good enough to get you past Kansas City and Cincinnati, among others, in the AFC? I don't know the answer to that either. I'm not sure of that one. So complementary receiving weapons is a concern.
So Sunday against the Giants was the first sample size of the Bills defense for an entire game without some of their key playmakers. They were without Matt Milano, who was injured early against the Jaguars for an entire game. Without Daquan Jones, they've been without Tre'Davious White now. Mark, what do you make of just how the defense held up without, some of those guys?
Well, they held a banged up, severely banged up Giants offense to 9 points. I don't know how much that actually tells us. And I don't know how much we're going to really learn the next 2 weeks against underperforming offenses in New England and Tampa Bay. I would say the play I liked the best, Christian Benford, deep sideline pass, key third down. They go deep to Darius Slayton, and Benford, closes late, makes a play on the ball to knock the ball away. I mean, that was an outstanding play. Love that play. Benford, it can make plays on the ball at the catch point, which is something that you either got it or you don't to some degree. And so I thought that was encouraging.
Yeah, I think that was a key play for sure. Late in the game, especially. The Bills went with Dorian Williams to start in place of Matt Milano. Rookie, he got some playtime against the Jaguars, obviously more here. Mark, what did you see from him?
Yeah, the guy, he plays fast, he plays downhill, and you just watch him, and he passes the eyeball test from a physical specimen standpoint. So you like those kind of people, okay? Kaiir Elam passes the eyeball test from a physical specimen standpoint, but he hasn't produced. But nevertheless, I digress. Dorian Williams looked good. He, especially against the run, played fast, attacked, and he's got, in my eyes, 2 more weeks to get his feet under him against underperforming offenses. I think they should play that guy, live with his mistakes, let him learn on the job, because he has the upside, more upside than anybody else.
Yeah, we have seen a couple times where he's almost over pursued a bit, whether it's just learning the speed of the game, excitement, I don't know. But I think to your point, yeah, he still needs a little bit of time to just get the NFL play speed underneath him. But so far, that's stepping into a really big role for anyone at Matt Milano's absence. But still a little things he would like back for sure. He said that the previous week of, there's a couple things I know immediately I can improve on, but also like this experience was really helpful as far as just getting actual NFL play time.
Another reaction from the game is they're really leaning on Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver's off to a great start to the season, which is really critical for this entire franchise going forward because he got a new big contract. But, he played 70-ish snaps. They're leaning on him. I'd like, you'd like to see that come down a little. Really, how does that come down a little? The offense starts picking it up a little more, so the defense doesn't have to be on the field so long.
2 guys who we've talked about a few times, are AJ Epinesa and Leonard Floyd also at different points throughout the season. But I think I've continued to be impressed with both of them. AJ in particular, he's had big plays week after week. Which that's an important year for him as well. So it's been nice to see his production. And then Leonard Floyd getting another sack in there at a critical point. I believe he leads the team now. He's been a nice addition as well.
This is a story. I don't know if I've ever seen, given the way Epinesa is playing, the Bills' defensive end depth as good as it is at the moment. So that's a column idea. I'll be writing about that maybe.
We look forward to it, Mark. They also, Von Miller still kind of easing back in, able to play more than the week before. haven't quite seen the production of previous times, but I think at that point, or at this point, excuse me, that's okay. They're just easing him back in. Mark, what do you think on that?
Yeah, I think it's he did play, I think 27 snaps. So yeah. I mean, ease him back in. Don't force these, especially with how well all these other guys are playing. And I think you got to be patient with Von with this recovery. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not worried. Not worried about him. Don't care how little per se he produces. Just keep getting his feet under him, and let's see where he is in a month. The New England Patriots are 1-5, and they are now in year 4 of the Mac Jones era, and it looks like they'll have wasted 4 seasons of trying to find the right quarterback. You really just got to feel terrible for the poor Patriots fans. I'm sure the Bills fans are just, sorry for them.
Yeah, I definitely feel that sympathy all around here, Mark. Notably, the Bills are big favorites in this game. Let me pull this up. Our coworker Ryan O'Halloran noted this. They open at minus 9.5 at the Patriots. The last time they were that big of a road favorite at New England, to your point of, this hard stretch for the Patriots, was 1993.
Wow.
November 7th, 1993, the Bills were 6-1. Patriots were also a 1-win team then at 1-7. It was the same, minus 9.5. The Bills won 13-10 in overtime. So didn't quite make it there, but I think that raises a question. We look at the last game, we look at what they've got coming up. Mark, do you think they're kind of playing down to teams they're going up against? Or is that, something different than what's actually going on?
Well, my recollection of that 93 game was that the Bills offense had hit some bumps in the road at that point, and the no huddle attack, teams were starting to catch up a little, and there was some bumps in the road. So, the frustrating thing or the NFL season is not a linear path. It's ups and downs. I think one key for the Bills on these slow starts is don't beat yourselves. And the fumble, on the what is the hallmark of the Patriots' 25-year history under Belichick? They don't beat themselves. Make the other team beat themselves. Bills fumble on the second drive when they were starting to move the ball. Can't have that against New England. If the Bills jump on them early, don't beat themselves. They can get on top of a struggling New England team. And really, watching the New England loss to Las Vegas on Sunday, it was stunning how the Patriots beat themselves. They had a penalty on Las Vegas's first field goal drive that kept the drive going. That New England's first drive, false start on the first play, ineligible downfield on the second play. Early second quarter, Ezekiel Elliott goes 74 yards with a screen pass, wiped out by an offensive penalty. Next drive, Mac Jones throws a horrendous interception on the move. That's not Mac Jones' strength. So Patriots are beating themselves. Don't beat yourselves. Let them keep beating themselves.
You mentioned the offense on there, but just what are you seeing out of this group in general? It seems like they don't really have the weapons they need on offense. They haven't been drafting particularly well the last stretch. Just what is going on with the Patriots offense, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, they were. I think that this is a case where Bill Belichick overrated how much he and Bill O'Brien, his new coordinator, could coach them up. They're not good enough from a skill position standpoint. They have okay players at the skill position, but you can stack them up against Buffalo, the Jets, Miami. They are a distant fourth in skill position talent. Who scares you? Juju Smith-Schuster is a slot yards after the catch guy. Tyquan Thornton, inexperienced, unproven deep vertical threat. Kendrick Bourne, a nice third down possession guy, but he's like Cole Beasley, he's not beating you per se. Devontae Parker is inconsistent, sometimes healthy, contested catch guy. They overspent for Hunter Henry, their all-around tight end. They're not good enough at the skill position. I looked it up. The last time they drafted a high-quality wide receiver was 2009 with Julian Edelman in the 7th round. That was the last time they drafted a quality wide receiver.
Well, some of the fashion from 2009 is starting to come back. So I don't know. Maybe that's a cycle they're just hoping will hit again. But yeah, their offense, they don't have the guys they need.
Yeah.
Defense, I think they also, it's obviously not working to the extent that they have seen in the past, just considering their record. But what are you seeing there in general, Mark?
They have talent. Now, I'll say this, that the Bills offense, the Patriots have talent on defense. They were 3rd in advanced analytics, DVOA, on defense in 2022 last year. They're not that this year. They are 10th in yards allowed and 12th in pass defense. They have players on defense. The issue is a colossal lack of support from the offense. And number 2, they've had injuries. So they've lost their best edge player, Matthew Judon, to a long-term injury. They lost their number 1 draft pick, their best cornerback, Christian Gonzalez. And last week, their second best edge rusher, Josh Uche, their situational speed rusher, missed the game. Whether Uche plays this week is going to be something to watch. He didn't practice yesterday. So they have lost some big horses on defense. Their pass rush is 25th. And even though, despite the fact they're blitzing at a high rate, they're 25th in sacks. So pass rush has been the problem.
Yeah, so definitely a lot to watch here. Slightly different Bills-Patriots game than some of the ones we've covered in the past few years, at least just heading into it. But we'll have all your coverage leading up to the game from the game as well on buffalonews.com. And wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe and keep listening.
Treat your team to the most flavorful pizza on game day at Picasso's Pizza. 4 great Western New York locations: Williamsville, West Seneca, Lancaster, and Blaisdell. Picasso's. We are Buffalo's Pizza since 1980. Order online today at picassospizza.net.